Alright guys, welcome to this video, and the topic of today's talk is why your shadow self won't let you get fit. This whole ideation revolves around the work of Carl Jung, and he says until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Gustav Jung. So let's start, and you already know how this ends. You have done this before. You set the goal, you meant it, you cleared the schedule, started the program, told yourself this time was different, and for a while, 2 weeks, maybe 4, it was. Then something disrupted it. One missed session, one bad week, and instead of returning the next morning, you stopped entirely. You did not just quit, you buried it. You told yourself the timing was wrong, that you would start again on Monday. Monday became the next month became a quiet, private agreement with yourself that perhaps this simply is not for someone like you. That thought, this is not for someone like me, is not a conclusion you reached. It is a sentence that was written inside you long before you ever stepped into a gym. You did not author it, but you have been living by it every single time. What you are about to read is not a fitness plan. It is a diagnosis. The part of you that keeps quitting is not weak. It is not broken. It is protecting something. And today we are going to find out exactly what that is. There are 3 ways this plays out. You will recognize all 3 of them. You may have spent years calling them personal weaknesses. They are not weaknesses. They are outputs of a system. The first is the interrupted restart. You begin well. The routine is holding. Then one thing breaks it. A deadline, a bad night, a single missed session, and instead of treating the interruption as one day, you treat it as a verdict. You do not return. From the outside, this looks like inconsistency. From the inside, it feels like confirmation of something you already suspected about yourself. The second is quieter and more dangerous. You are doing well, and then you notice a series of small decisions. Staying up too late before an early workout, forgetting to prepare food on Sunday, agreeing to plans that displace your training. Each decision looks innocent on its own. Together, they form a pattern. You are not forgetting, you are arranging. Some part of you is systematically rebuilding the conditions for failure. The third is the more counterintuitive. You are making real progress. Results are visible. People are noticing. And then the discomfort arrives. Not physical, psychological. The new version of you feels like wearing someone else's clothes. And quietly, without announcing it, you begin to undo the progress. More people quit at the point of visible results than at the point of visible failure. Progress for many people is the trigger. These 3 patterns are not random. They are not character. They are outputs of a specific psychological system that has been running inside you, largely unexamined for most of your life. The most precise map of that system was not written by a fitness coach. It was written by a Swiss psychiatrist in the early 20th century, and it explains with uncomfortable accuracy exactly what has been happening to you. There is a name for this. Carl Jung spent his life studying the gap between what people intend and what their behavior actually produces. He was not interested in what people said about themselves. He was interested in what happened when conscious intention failed, and what was operating underneath it when it did. Jung described the human psyche in 4 distinct layers. Each layer sits at a different path. Each has a different relationship to your behavior. Understanding these 4 layers is not academic exercise. It is the only way to accurately read your own fitness history. You can take a screenshot of this. So, the identity layer is the persona. This is the version of you that signs up for the program, announces the goal, and posts the starting photo. The persona is sincere. It genuinely wants what it says it wants. But the persona is a performance, not the complete system. The second layer is the ego. So this second layer is the ego. Your conscious narrator. The voice that says, I am in control. I am making this decision. I know what I am doing. The ego genuinely believes it is running the program. It is frequently wrong. The third layer is where your entire fitness history lives. The shadow is everything the ego has refused to acknowledge about itself. So this is the shadow. All right, and ego does not acknowledges the shadow. All right, every belief you hold about you are not capable of, every identity you decide was not available to someone like you, every version of yourself that felt too threatening to look at directly, the ego filed all of that away into the shadow, where it did not disappear, where it has been operating ever since. The fourth layer is the self, Jung's term for fully integrated psyche, not a goal for a program, the goal of a life. The shadow alone is not the problem. A shadow you have never acknowledged, that is the problem. The shadow is a moral problem that challenges the whole ego personality, for no one can become conscious of the shadow without considerable moral effort. Carl Gustav Jung. The three patterns from the previous chapter, the uninterrupted start, the quiet arrangement of failure, the retreat from progress, are all shadow outputs. They are not random. They are not weaknesses. They are the shadow correcting your trajectory back toward an identity it recognizes. The identity built around one sentence: this is not who you are. The shadow did not build itself. It was constructed for something specific, something that happened to you at a time when you had no power to refuse it. That is the part nobody in the fitness industry is talking about. That is where we are going next. How your shadow got built. Your childhood. The shadow is assembled, not born. Every time a version of you was rejected by a parent, a coach, a peer group, a mirror, a piece of information was filed into the shadow, not deleted, filed, still active. The child told they were not athletic. The teenager picked last. The person who failed publicly and absorbed, even once, the message, this is not who you are. That message did not leave when you grew up. It became infrastructure. Scientists estimate that the foundational beliefs a person holds about their own capability are largely established before the age of 7, before you had the cognitive tools to interrogate them, before you could ask, is this actually true? Or is this what someone else decided about me? You could not ask that questions at 5 years old, so the belief settled into the shadow, where it has been running your behavior ever since. Every failed fitness attempt after that point reinforced the content, not because the attempt was poorly designed, because the attempt was made by the persona, a sincere, conscious performance of intention. While the shadow was simultaneously running the program that said, we have tried this before, we know how this ends, this is not who we are. The persona submits the goal, the shadow controls the outcome. The cruelest part of this mechanism is the shadow never announces itself. It does not argue. It does not tell you to quit. It makes quitting feel inevitable, like a personality trait, like a circumstance, like evidence of something fixed and permanent about who you are. You call it fate. Jung had a different name for it. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Now you understand the mechanism. The question the fitness industry has never asked is, why has every attempt to override this through discipline and willpower failed? The answer to that question changes everything. Why fighting it has never worked? The fitness industry's answer to psychological failure is always the same: more structure, more accountability, a stricter plan, a stronger reason why. These are variations of a single instruction. Override the resistance with more force. Apply enough conscious effort and the problem will yield. Jung watched this approach destroyed his patients for decades. Every time the shadow was suppressed, pushed down harder, ignored more aggressively, it found a different exit. Depression, compulsion, self-destruction in forms that looked completely unrelated to the original suppression. The shadow does not respond to force. Force is not the currency it operates in. This is the structural error the fitness industry has been making for 50 years. It sells conscious solutions to an unconscious problem. A better macro split does not reach the shadow. A 5 a.m. alarm does not reach the shadow. A motivational quote on your mirror, and you already know this, does not reach the shadow. The shadow is not accessible enough through effort. It is accessible through awareness. Awareness is not passive. It is a specific directed process. And it produces the single most important shift Jung described. The moment the unconscious becomes conscious, here is what that actually looks like and what it requires from you. Integration. Integration does not mean destroying the shadow. It does not mean healing it or forgiving it. Integration means making it conscious, forgiving it into view where the ego can finally see it not as a threat but as information, as a belief that was installed in you by specific experiences at a time when you had no power to refuse it. When you can finally see the belief clearly, I am not the kind of person who follows through. Someone like me does not sustain this. My body does not deserve this kind of attention. When you can see it as belief rather than fact, its authority begins to decrease, not completely, not permanently on the first attempt, but enough to create a gap between the shadow's instructions and your behavior. That gap is where identity change becomes possible. Jung called this process individuation, the central psychological work of a human life. You do not need to complete individuation to change your fitness behavior. You need to do something far more contained. Identify the specific belief your shadow holds about your body and your capability. One belief, the one that has been signing off on every quit. Find it, name it, understand where it came from. That is the beginning of everything. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people. Carl Gustav Jung. The shadow you have been carrying has a name. It has a history. It was built from specific experiences in a specific sequence. It can be surfaced, not through more effort, but through the right questions asked in the right order with genuine honesty. That is not something a fitness program does. It is something a psychological audit does. The fitness industry will keep selling you programs. It will keep telling you the problem is your plan, your consistency, your commitment. It is not. The problem is a belief your shadow has been running since before you were old enough to question it. The solution is not a better plan. The solution is a clearer mirror. 3 actions that you need to do. So number 1, observe. This week, when you self-interrupt a fitness habit, when you skip, stop, or quietly arrange the conditions for failure, do not label it laziness. Write down exactly what you felt in the 24 hours before the interruption. Not what you did, what you felt. Look for the pattern underneath the excuse. Second is identify. Write one sentence that completes this. Someone like me doesn't. Whatever finishes that sentence about your body or your fitness, that is shadow content. That is the belief running the program underneath your intentions. Write it down. Look at it directly. That is the first act of integration. Number 3 is diagnose. Take the mirror test at projectmirror.online. It is a 12-question psychological audit that surfaces the specific identity pattern and inherited belief behind your fitness behavior. It will show you the exact belief your shadow has been operating from. The shadow you have been carrying has a name. This is how you find it. projectmirror.online. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.